This conference will now be recorded.
Hey guys, this is Satish from Isha. Um, uh, Thanks for taking your time for attending this PE demo session. So today, the plan is to um, uh, provide you an overview on what are all topics that we are going to cover as part of this engineering batch. That is the main intention of today's session. And then we'll also spend time on answering any of your doubts or questions that you have. Okay, so let me give a quick introduction about me and um, the PE course, and then I'll go into the topics. Okay, or just me 1 second. Guys, you able to hear me, right?
Sure,
Any?
we can hear you.
Yes, Satish.
Yes, Satish. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you. Okay, so I believe most of you attending this session might be from the performance testing background. Most of you, I would guess. Okay, so and as part of your performance testing, as a performance tester or a performance test engineer, you might be doing the non-functional requirements, scripting, execution, analysis, and reporting. Right? That is what we all used to do from a performance testing role uh, perspective. Okay, and a couple of you might be doing everything, or some of you might be doing only scripting or execution, depending upon your experience or the expectation from the project teams. Okay, so what next? If you guys have attended my earlier session on Sunday about the trends, I was mentioning about a lot of things where we can upskill or cross skill so that we can be more relevant to the market. One of the things is performance engineering. Second is more from the SDET, full stack QA, cloud, DevOps. All these things are all where you can upskill yourself. Uh, Engineering is an extension to the your performance testing, where you can strengthen your depth of knowledge of what all you already have a performance testing knowledge. So if you see this diagram in the right hand side, right, performance engineering is a combination of a couple of things, right? In that, testing is one of the aspect. Definitely, in most of the projects earlier 3-4 years back, we used to have a performance tester, 10-20 performance tester, 5-6 performance engineer. Right? That is how we used to have in a very big complex projects. But now I would say 80-90% of the projects where people expect us to do everything. A performance tester should be able to do the engineering as well, right? So which means performance engineering is a combination of one main aspect is testing, which you already are doing it, okay, and then system analysis, which is which will have wide area of topics which I'm going to talk about. So that will include everything from an engineering perspective. And then other two things are the programming and a little bit of administration networking is required, not at a larger scale because we are not going to be developers. Little bit of programming will always help us to do it things confidently. So because we are going to pinpoint problems, right? We are going to say to the developers, your code is having a problem, your method is having a problem, your object is having a problem, your database connection is having a problem. So which means if you know a little bit of program, right, you would be able to go and orient your problems very clearly, and developer will not reject your claim. It mostly, even when we go and tell them there's a response time problem, there is something CPU memory problem, most of the time the developers will take a stand where they always will complain about scripting or test data. So when we are confident, they will they will also be able to more accept whatever issues we are going to raise. So from that perspective, programming will definitely help. The programming terminologies and then little bit of hands-on will definitely help. Similarly, the administration and networking as well, right? You should be able to go and install tools, softwares, restart the JVMs, Tomcats, your servers. So all these administrative work, right? Most of the time now in Agile DevOps project, you have to do things on your own. You have to probably bring up your own environment, install the tools, install the software. So it is good to get your hands dirty from an administrative perspective. So you should be able to, it's all very, it's not a rocket science, right? It's like just like installing any software in your own personal laptop. Just that you need to do it, that's it. Once you start doing it on your own, installing the Tomcat or installing the database or installing your JVM, it's all going to be all, lot of people are doing it. You will get a lot of help support from Google as long as you go and search for it. So programming and networking, it's good to have it as you move along, so that you will get a good confidence, and real time it will be useful for you. You don't need to rely on others to help you out. So major chunk is testing, which you already know it. Another major chunk is system analysis. That is what we are going to learn in this course. Programming and the administration, you have to try to get it at some point of time, a little bit, not a mandatory. At least programming is not mandatory, but at least you should be able to talk smartly from a developer language. That I will probably try to tell you how to handle it. But the administration is something, once you start installing the tools, softwares, you will find a lot of problems. Then you will get used to that area as well, a little bit. Okay, so that is a combination of performance engineering skills. Whenever you're going to call yourself as a performance engineer, you should be able to do a testing, you should be able to do a system analysis, little bit of programming, and then little bit of administration. And then when it comes to system analysis, right, from a performance engineering perspective, there are a lot of activities, lot of there's no boundary at all, right? 1 year, 2 year performance engineer can do a little bit, a 5 year can do a more, 10 year can do a something, as an architect he can do a lot of things. There's no boundary really, at least to begin with, right? Probably now you're learning this after 6 months, after 1 year, within next 2 years, right? You should be able to do all these things at a moderate level. 100% sure no course or no other tutorial, no other person will be able to provide you the knowledge within a week or 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. It's a journey. This course is going to help you to fast track a few things, get you required things, and once you start doing it yourself, either in the project or whatever you learn in this course, at least you practice it once, you would be able to confidently go and do all these things at a moderate level. Okay, so what are the various activities that we do from an engineering perspective? One is the reviewing your system architecture. This reviewing your system architecture is something experienced architect or experienced performance engineer will be able to do it early in the life cycle. When there is a new project, a new application is going to get developed, as a performance engineer, you should be able to review the design and then find flaws at the design itself. Okay, that is going to take time, right? You have to look into the NFR expectations from the business. You have to look into the architecture, design various components, and then say this is going to work out or not. But that is going to take a lot of time for a beginner. So let's not talk about that. Okay, but yes, that is one of the role as you move forward with your experience. That also will be an expectation from you, and you should be able to create the engineering strategies for web and mobile or whatever applications you are going to handle. You should be able to, similar to a test strategy, you should be able to create the engineering strategy. Okay, I will talk about engineering strategy also as part of the course, and of course the testing tool like LoadRunner, Jmeter, that you might already having it. Okay, and then you should be having a good experience in monitoring your system at various layers using the APM tools or like Dynatrace or AppDynamics, JConsole, Performance. So monitoring is going to be one important aspect where you should be able to get important metrics from different components. And then you should be good in profiling tools, either a JProfiler or a JProbe doing the heap analysis, thread dump analysis, finding out problems with the code from a memory perspective, from a CPU perspective, from a response time perspective. Okay, you should be able to do a minimal level of database analysis. You're not going to be a database performance engineer. Okay, that's again a very niche area. Application performance engineering is different from a database performance engineering. DBAs, database engineer, will do a lot of other tuning activity for database, but from an application performance engineering perspective, at least you should be able to get the analysis from application perspective, analyze the AWR report. So those as well we'll look into it as we move along the course. Okay, and then the client side performance, end user experience. So all this together, right? Database analysis, client side profiling, server side profiling, heap thread dump analysis, APM tools, monitoring, and putting up the strategies. All these things are going to be part of a performance engineering role. I would say it's not a minimal. I think if you could able to do all these things to a certain level, definitely I think that is what expected in the as a role from a performance engineering. Okay, so this is something again I've just grouped all these activity from a SDLC perspective. See, mostly as a performance tester, we get involved during testing phase where we go and create the scripts and we go and run those scripts, right? But as a performance engineer, your role, one second. Sorry guys. Okay, so as a performance tester, right, our role, say for example, as a 6-month project, as a performance tester you will get involved in 4th month probably. Okay, and then you will be doing a scripting, execution, analysis, and you will be moved out of the project, or you will continue for the regression, right? But more from when you talk about engineering, the scope is larger, so you're going to be more relevant to the project for the entire duration, which means you getting a project for a more duration is more of a as high probability compared to a tester, right? So you once you gain experience, you can even get involved right at the requirement stage, or at least during the development stage. You as a performance engineer should be able to take the code, do the client side profiling, do the server side profiling, dump analysis, heap dump analysis, finding out problem at the code level. So which means you will be working along with the developer, and then doing the testing, scripting, execution, analysis, everything. So your role would be more wider when compared to a tester. So that is also one more advantage, right? Once you gain performance engineering skill set, you will be involved more into a application lifecycle. Okay, so what we are going to learn in this course, I just listed out all the topics. So if you look into it, we will start with some of the basics about the Java JVM, because the entire engineering course is based on the Java performance engineering. So as I was telling earlier, it is very important for you to gain some knowledge on the software or the program, so that you will be able to go and find out problems and then talk about that to the developer in a proper terminology. Okay, so Java basics, JVM basics are going to be critical, which we will start with probably tomorrow or day after. Okay, so those are the concepts, right? And then we will move on to the in the last column I also given the tools that we will use along for our learning. Okay, and then we will start with the engineering topic. um, we will think as if we are going to get into a project, a new application developed as a performance engineer. What is our going to be, what is our role, right, in taking out each and every functionality, finding out response time problem, debugging those, and finding out problem at the code level. We'll use the tools like JProfiler, Tomcat Access Logs, developer tools for these activity, right? And then we will move on to the so let me show you the sample application as well. Not a sample application, it's an actual application. So let me go to the, yeah, this is the e-library application, which we will use it for the entire session. Okay, so I will be providing you this war file, which you can deploy it in your laptop, in your Tomcat. Okay, and if you are also interested in getting the code of this, I can also share you the code, the entire code of this application. So I will be changing a lot of these code to create problems and to solve problems. So you can also set up this project in Eclipse if required. It's not mandatory. If you are comfortable with using Eclipse, you can use it. It's not going to be a rocket science again. Just 15-20 minutes of time to install the Eclipse and then setting up this project so that you can get the entire code, so that you will be able to get some kind of a knowledge on what happens in the code. Yeah, it's not, again, it's not mandatory for a PE. You no need to go and test the code. So if you think that will you be able to do it, is it the right thing for you, don't worry, because we don't need to test the code at all. Without even testing the code, performance engineering can be done. So additionally, if you're interested, you can import this project and then use it, where I'll provide you the Java file with issue, without issue. You can put it in your project, compile it, and then create a war file on your own. Otherwise, I will provide you the war file directly. Let me show you the drive as well, which we will use it. Yeah, so I will provide you access to the Google Drive. Okay, where you will get all the artifacts, all the documents, all the see, response time analysis, right? I was talking about response time analysis. So you will get a document on what all the response time analysis we'll do it as part of the profiling, and then the war file, right? The Tomcat will go and deploy the war file. I'll show you how we do it. That also I'll give it so that you can just go and deploy it in your Tomcat. You no need to touch the code at all. I'll provide you the war file for the response time analysis, response time issue. For the memory leak, I will provide you the another war file which will have a memory issue, and then similarly for the thread issue. For all the issues that we are going to create it, I will provide you the war file. You just need to have the Tomcat installed, so that you would be able to just go and replace those. Go to the Tomcat folder, and then you will be just replacing those war file in the web apps folder. So this file you will just copy paste the whatever I'm going to give it. Okay, so that's going to be very easy thing to do. It's not a complicated one at all. Okay, so I'll be giving access to the drive once you register, and you will also get access to this sheet where all the links from where you can install the JDK or Java or Eclipse, Tomcat, all the tools, all these things will be available for you for your reference. And the videos as well, right? For the everyday video will be uploaded to the YouTube as a private repo, and then you will get access to all the videos from the day 1 to day whatever till the end, and even after the course is completed, you will get the access to the videos completely. There is no time limit at all. Okay, so those are the three things which you will get it: the videos, and then the drive, and then the sheet. And in the sheet as well, we will maintain a sheet for the Q&A. Okay, so at the end of the session, after once you're going to practice it, or once you're going to go through the videos, if you have any questions, you can just go and add the questions here, so that offline I will answer it. Even during the session, last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we will allocate for Q&A. where anything related to the same day topic or yesterday's topic, you can feel free to ask the questions. Okay, so that is how we are going to do it the entire sessions, right? It is going to be like we are going to have an application where there are going to be problem. We are going to see what is the problem, identify the issue, solve the issue using these profiling tools. That is how we are going to learn. So it will be build, deploy, test, identify problems, and then profile it. Okay, that is how we are going to learn. And all these things you would be able to do it, right? The basic thing what I want you to have it is your laptop, latest Java, Eclipse if required, Tomcat for sure, and then I will provide you the code and war file, and then few tools you have to install in your laptop. Okay, so which means whatever I do it during the session, you would be able to replicate that on the same day or over the weekend or after the course is completed. You should be able to do it completely. Okay, so the hands-on is definitely recommended, so that you will get the confidence. Not many of us will get a immediate project for performance engineering, right? Because one, we will not be confident. Second, they will look for experience. So one best way for you to gain experience is with whatever application or I'm having it. If there are problems in that application, if we can do all these things, whatever we are going to learn in the session, right? You can definitely both in the interviews, right? In the interviews, you can go and honestly tell that you are a performance tester, performance test engineer. But I have taken the course. I have practiced all these things on my own. I know how to do a dump. I know how to do a dump. I know how to do a AWR analysis. I know how to do the garbage collection analysis. I know profiling. Right. I know to troubleshoot the response time analysis, response time problems. I have used open source tool like Telegraph or InfluxDB. I know what are the thread contention. If you, I have done it hands-on for my own application, but I haven't done it for a real application. Everybody who is interviewing you, even if I am the person who is going to do an interview, somebody is going to tell that honestly, you would be preferred over a performance tester. You might not be preferred over a performance engineer, but you might be preferred over a performance tester for sure. Right? And most of the time, performance engineer with more experience, they are going to be costly in the market as well, right? It's all depending upon their budget. And when they compare you with another performance tester, you will definitely have an edge. So the recommendation is, once a course is completed, at least once you go do everything on your own and so on, you would be able to do it very confidently, both in the project and in the interview for sure. Okay, so coming back to the topics, so response time analysis, and then followed by memory. We will talk about Java heap, Java stack analysis, memory leak analysis, heap dump analysis, GC analysis. So that's a probably I'll go over in detail of each of these topics tomorrow. Again, we will have a extension of today's demo session tomorrow as well, to give you more information about, okay, what exactly we are going to see it in the memory leak analysis, heap dump, GC analysis, various topics. I'll go over each and everything. Maybe I'll spend 5 minutes on each of these topics. Okay, so first is response time analysis. Second is going to be our complete memory related heap, GC, stack, and then Java threads, thread contentions, thread dump analysis. And then if you look into it, right, the way it is getting segregated, you have a JVM, you will look into the response time problem, we'll look into the memory problem, we'll look into the GC problem, thread problem, and then from a end user perspective, we look into the client side analysis, client side profiling, how to optimize the your UI. Okay, and then all these things we will pretty much do it before actual load testing is done. So before load testing, we have to make sure that monitoring is proper. We have to create a monitoring strategy, make sure that all the monitoring tools are available properly. In that perspective, we'll go and learn the AppDynamics as well. AppDynamics from a configuration of our e-library Java application. We will connect with AppDynamics tool. We'll learn how to configure it. Okay, and then we'll go and look into various sections of AppDynamics, various monitoring aspect, diagnostic aspect, creating alerts. All these things we will look into the AppDynamics. And in the modern world, everybody is using open source, so we'll also try to learn one of the open source monitoring, combination of Telegraph, InfluxDB, Chronograph or Grafana. Okay, that combination of tool we will try to learn, configure. We will go and install, configure, and see how to use the open source monitoring tool. Okay, and then combination of these tools, we will try to run a small test, a load test, and then see how to troubleshoot the problem, response time problem, memory problem using AppDynamics, getting those CPU memory from the open source monitoring tool. So all these things combinedly, we'll do a bottleneck analysis as well. And then we'll move to the database side of the application, where we will look into the Oracle from an architecture perspective. We'll try to learn how Oracle architecture works, and then we'll connect to our Oracle database, and then see how to turn on these snapshots, how to generate AWR reports, and then analyzing the AWR report from an application performance engineering perspective, not from a DBA perspective, not from a database engineering perspective, more from a application performance engineering perspective. We'll try to learn the AWR analysis. And then, so once we learn all these things, right, now you will be able to better understand how an engineering strategy will look like. Okay, so engineering strategy, I don't want to do it at the session 1 or session 2, because it will be more theoretical. Then it will be more of a black box. Once you have seen everything, right, from response time analysis, profiling, heap dump, thread dump, monitoring, database, then you will, it will be more easy to for you to understand how an engineering strategy is going to look like. At the last, the last two topics are not engineering topics, but everywhere you go, they will talk about DevOps, they will talk about cloud. So from a future readiness perspective, we will have an introduction to DevOps, where you will see in real projects how performance is implemented in DevOps. I'll share my real-time experience. Also, we'll look into the Jenkins Jmeter integration as well, how to do it. Okay, that's, I was talking about this on Sunday as well. That's a minimal thing you need to know, so that you can, somebody asking you some question, you will be able to talk about that, take part in a discussion, and something is required in your project for DevOps, you will be able to, you will know what to do. That is the information, that is the knowledge you will gain from this topic as well. And second, again, from a cloud perspective also, we'll have an introduction to the cloud, what is going to be different, how it is going to be different, what are additional scenarios you have to test it for auto scaling or resiliency. So those as well, we will look into it from a future readiness perspective. Okay, so what I'll do is tomorrow we'll spend some more time on each of these topics for you to get a little bit more understanding on for each of these topics, what are all tools we are going to use it, how are we going to go about it. Probably I'll also try to give you more information about all the tools that we are going to use it as well. Okay, so that you will know completely, you will have a clear picture on what are all things that we are going to cover in this engineering batch. Okay, I'll go through some slides, I'll go through the tools, so that you will get to know exactly what we are going to do in the thread topic, what we are going to do in the GC topic, what we are going to do in the heap dump sessions, client side sessions, database sessions, monitoring sessions. Okay, so that we'll do it tomorrow. I'll not rush it up today. I'll just open it up for any questions you have, guys. Feel free to put it in the chat, or you can ask the questions.
Hi, Satish. Hello.
Yeah, Shreedhar, I can able to hear you.
Yeah. So, so as part of this performance engineering, so are you going to use, like you said, we have an application, right? So should we use to create some scripts and then doing with more number of others and identify the bottlenecks by using these? When we are finding bottlenecks, are you going to use these tools and then test as part of our sessions?
Okay, so from the performance engineering, as part of the early performance, right? We don't need load. We just need, it's always going to be a single user profiling, both for client as well as for your server side. And when we are going to do a bottleneck analysis for the doing a load test, right? There we will require a load, but during the session will not go and run for huge number of load. I'll be running for 10-20 users. With that, I'll be simulating a response time problem or a memory problem. that we will try to see how we are going to diagnose that problem using the AppDynamics tool. So it won't be 1,000 user test, or which is not going to be practically possible with the application as well as with the laptop. So that we will not do it. But yes, we will analyze the response time problem or a memory problem. I'll have a set of scripts. You don't need to create a scripts. I mean, I already have a scripts which I will share it with the Jmeter. We will run those for 10-20 users, and then we will go and monitor the AppDynamics from a response time perspective, from a debugging perspective, from a diagnostic perspective. So yes, you can also go and create a scripts for the application, but load is not going to be huge here.
Okay. So one more thing, are you going to discuss on like how do we configure the GC logs, and then how to analyze the GC logs?
Definitely, yes, we will have all these things covered. Probably tomorrow, when I'm going to go through this little bit more in detail, I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to learn. But yes, how to configure the GC logs, what all things to look into the GC logs, from a major collection, from a minor collection, how much time it has taken. All these things we will be covering it in the GC, and also about the various collectors of GC, what happens inside GC. All these things we'll cover it.
And one more thing is, are we going to change the are we going to change the GC arguments and then try to see the response time increment or decrement because of the GC ratio between the young old or whatever it is?
So those ratios, yes, those GC flags, yes, we will go and configure it. We'll change it, and we will go and see visually using visual VM how it is going to allocate the space. But impact to that, what is the impact that is going to have it on the response time or your memory pattern? That is not going to be reproduced. You cannot produce that easily, actually. Okay, so you should have a real problem, huge load to mimic that kind of a scenario. What we will learn is what are the various tuning flags, when it is going to be recommended, and we will go and apply those tuning flags, and then visually see how it is going to change your young generation or old generation. We'll try to learn all these things practically, but what we will not see is the real output of this flag, right? For that, you would need a huge load to be done on your system. Unless otherwise, you're going to load your system with 1,000 user, 2,000 user, have a 8 GB of heap size, and then there has to be a actual GC kind of a problem, and then you apply these flags, then you will see an impact. That is not going to happen even in the real project. Only probably 2 or 3 out of 10 times you're going to get that kind of a problem. Okay, but when to apply these flags, how to apply these flags, what is the impact of that, those things we will learn and see it practically.
Okay, yeah, sure, thank you.
One question with respect to the API testing, are any specific tools will be covered, I see that most of the tools what we have seen is the browser tools only, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, so the API testing from an engineering perspective is no different from your browser based application. The reason is we are from a server side profiling, right? Everything is the code. Everything is still an API. Everything is still a servlet. Be it a servlet or be it as APIs. From profiling perspective, it is all going to be same. From heap dump perspective, it's all same. Thread dump, it's all same. Monitoring is same. So API, say for example, if you have an architecture where you have a front end, and then a front end is communicating with a backend through an servlet, and then you have a downstream services which is a REST API or a microservices, right? So in that perspective, when you're going to do a profiling, right, for a web application, you will navigate through a login, and then you use a JProfiler kind of a tool and see what is the problem with the login. For API, directly to access the API, you will not use the browser, right? You will go and use the API using a Postman or any other SOAP tool, and use that post call or get call, and then that call you will profile it using a JProfiler. or similar, or during a load test when you're doing a 1000 user test on the API directly, that time also you will do a heap dump or thread dump in a similar way. So API, or it's going to be a web app, it's not going to be any different for a engineering, be it as a downstream services or a main services. The approach is going to be pretty much same. Only the client side profiling is not going to be applicable for the API because it is not a browser based application, but everything else, response time analysis, heap analysis, memory leak analysis, heap dump, garbage collection, thread might not, yeah, even threads are going to be there, even the APIs has to be run on the threads. Thread contentions, thread dumps, monitoring, everything is relevant, same for API as well, Ashok.
Okay, thank you.
So just wanted to check. I just want
Yes,
to talk
Satish. Good
about
morning, Satish. Sorry.
Yeah, one by one you can go on.
yeah. So I was talking about if about Kafka. Like, are we going to include that topic also? How Kafka is working and how it can be monitored for like performance engineering point of view.
See, okay, when it comes to architecture components, right? An architecture can have a number of components. It could be a Kafka, MQ, Java messaging services. It could be a Cosmo DB. So we will not go into specific of each component because the topics are tailored to cover a wide variety of things that are in common. Kafka, I can probably answer you little bit during the session. Kafka is also a Java-based application. It's a JVM. Okay, it's a Java app, nothing but Java app. From a monitoring perspective, we can pretty much use JConsole, which we will look into it during the session. Any Java application, it's not only Kafka, any Java application can be monitored using JConsole, right? So Kafka is again going to be same. But within Kafka, there are going to be consumers, producers, zookeepers. So you might need to know how many messages are coming in, how many are going out, how many are still in the queue. The CPU of your CPU memory of your zookeeper or your consumer. Those are going to be specific metrics you might have to monitor the Kafka. Okay, similar to Kafka, you might have some other MQs, JMS. So every component has to be dealt in a different way. Okay, once you go over this performance engineering topics and entire sessions, what it will give you is, see, today it's Kafka in your project. Maybe tomorrow if you go, it could be totally a different streaming services, right? And there are a lot of tools like MongoDB, Elasticsearch. You cannot go and master everything, but you should be confident that yes, every software has to be monitored. It will have some native monitoring. It will have a tool within that monitoring, within that software itself. We have to just go and identify what are the tools, what are the metrics, before you have to get it ready before you do a testing. That is the approach you have to follow, which means you're not going to master every other component. Okay, so Kafka will not cover it for sure. I can guide you in general, like what I'm talking about now, because we cannot go and look into each component because there are 100,000 components, right? This engineering batch is going to cover engineering, but definitely it will give you a perspective on how to approach every software that you're going to deal with. Every architecture is going to have 20, 30 different components. Every component has to be monitored, right? Say, for example, we are going to cover Oracle, but in your project, you'll also have Oracle. You will also have, say, a MongoDB. MongoDB has to be monitored. MongoDB, you need to find bottleneck in MongoDB if there's a problem, right? So,
Yeah.
but you cannot go until otherwise you get into a project. You cannot go and gain those knowledge. But when you get into a project, you will look into the architecture, you will look into all the components, and then see, okay, MongoDB is there. Then I should go to the MongoDB user manual, go to MongoDB site, try to understand what is the monitoring component that is there in the MongoDB, and then see what are the metrics you need to monitor, and you have a strategy for that. So that is the approach you have to follow. And everybody, even me, for me, it is going to be new only, right? When there's a new component. So it is going to take time for MongoDB, for us to understand the MongoDB, and then create a monitoring strategy for that, analysis for that. But once you know that you have done it for one component, that's the same approach you will follow it for the other components as well.
Okay. And one more thing, Satish, like you're saying like we need to install some tools. So I just wanted to know, like since I'm using Mac, not Windows, so are those like compatible for like Mac?
Okay, to be honest, I haven't tried out on the Mac. Mac being a Linux by itself, it should be able to support. Only thing is, if there's a problem, I might not have an solution for that immediately. Say, if Tomcat is not working, if GA profile is not working, for example,
Yeah.
you will find solution in the internet for sure, but I might not have it. But for sure, every tool will be compatible, right? For sure, because all the software, they will make sure that it is going to be compatible for Linux, Windows, and Mac. Mac
Yeah.
underlying, I sure that it is a Linux by itself, so you should be able to do it. But that you might find you have to find some solution if something is not working. But there's no way that these things are not going to work. It will work.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Thank you, Satish.
Yeah, and from the timing perspective, it is going to be 7:45 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. IST. If you have a concern on this, let me know. But that is the time which we are going to follow, which will be before Indian office hour starts. We wanted to cover it, and for US as well. I don't know for EST, it might be a little late, but to cover the different zone, that is the one which we are going to follow. It's 7:45 a.m. IST to 8:45 a.m. IST. 15 minutes before whatever we started today.
Satish, this is Kiran.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to learn the performance engineering, how much knowledge is required in performance testing? Is there any dependency?
At least basics about performance testing, performance concepts is required. What is performance testing? Why are we doing performance testing? That is required. So if you're completely new to performance testing itself, you haven't done even a single project, then it's going to be difficult. Or if you are a QA manager, if you are a functional test manager, right, then you no need to go into depth of the performance testing. It is good for you to know what is performance engineering so that you can handle projects, handle the performance engineers. So if you are at a management level, if you are there, it is still relevant. But if you are going to be a performance, not a manager, but if you are going to try to be a performance engineer by yourself, but if you don't have handled any performance testing project, then it will be an overkill. So either you have to be you should have done at least one performance testing project, or if you are at a management level, QA manager, then also it is okay.
Yeah, just we did it, but by seeing few of the blogs, we did some performance tests for few of the projects, uh, just to know how much knowledge is required.
Okay. You can just probably
Hi Satish,
ping me
I'm Karthik.
directly. I'll try to get some more information from you on your skill set and your experience, and then I'll advise you whether it is required or not.
Okay. And after running our performance test, we are going to show the reports to the stakeholders, right? Like HTML dashboard report and all. Like the same way in the performance engineering also, do we need to share any reports?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for the profiling, for the whatever engineering activities that we do it, yes, there has to be artifacts shared. I'll also show you during the session what are the artifacts we will be sharing with them. Yes, it will be required. For when we do a responsive analysis, when we do a heap dump analysis, when you do a memory leak analysis, we have to provide them the document, more of an analysis, whatever you do it. Yes.
Okay. So after we complete this performance engineering, how much experience we can keep in our resume, like for performance engineering?
To be honest, I'll say
Hi.
6 months,
Hello.
not more than that.
6 months.
6 months to 1 year, yes.
Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi Satish, I'm Karthik.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, Karthik. Hi.
Yes, I am a tester and a QA tester having 2 years of experience in automation, and I don't have any experience in performance engineering. Am I eligible to this course?
It's not about eligibility. It's more about what you wanted to do it, right? So since you have automation knowledge, I believe that you love Java knowledge, right?
Yes, yes,
Selenium Java. Okay. So since you are already a technical guy,
yes, I have.
since you're already a technical guy and you know Java and all, I think you can still learn performance engineering. See, testing and engineering is totally different only. Okay. I would say when I say different, um, um, when you since you have automation knowledge, right? I would prefer you to join and learn this. It's not going to be a waste of your time. If you told me you know only manual testing, then I wouldn't have told you to join. But since you have automation knowledge and good in Java,
Okay, I have a
you
basic
can.
knowledge. Yes,
Yeah.
okay, but I don't have any knowledge on Tomcat. Hello, hello, Satish. Am I audible?
Yeah, no, I was stuck in mute. Sorry. No, I'm just saying you might have used Tomcat Eclipse for automation, right?
Yes, yes, I have used it. Yes,
Yeah. So Tomcat doesn't need a skill set. It's just a software. You need to install it and then use it.
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, hi Satish. One question. So at end of this course, what we will get? So I mean, how much it will help a person who is having, let's say, 10 years experience in performance testing only, and after doing a course, so if we want to switch, so would this be enough?
See, it is not a switch, right? It is an extension. Obviously, if you have a 10 years of experience in testing, this is going to be really value add. Definitely, you will be able to see, as I said, right? You can take up the projects, engineering projects, definitely for sure. Or even in the interviews, you will be able to go and say that once you practice it, at least have a hands-on on all these things. You can go and tell that I have a 10 years of experience in performance testing, and from an engineering perspective, I have a passion. I have learned on my own. I have used the application on my own. I have done all these things hands-on. I don't have an experience in a real-time project, but I have done all these things and I'm ready to take up the engineering project. Right? You cannot go and claim I have a 3-year experience in engineering. You can still go and do it if you want to do it. You can just go and say I have done all these things in a real project 1 year, 2 year. But even without saying that I have an experience, if you can at least go and tell them I have a passion towards engineering, I've learned all these things, I have done it on my own, all these things. Definitely, I think they will 10 years experience of performance testing plus this course will help you definitely in your external recruitment or even within the your project as well.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And few more topics like as part of DB, so there are something like a query execution plans and this all. So we'll go in that also. I mean, you will cover
Uh,
those things.
I'll tell you what we are going to cover tomorrow in database because again, the database engineering is going to be more from application perspective. We will not go in detail about tuning about the execution plans or queries, but I'll let you know tomorrow about this.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, and also you will be touching this Dockers, containers, Kubernetes, some concepts
No,
or
no, 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 no. Again, so whatever topics we have mentioned, that is what we will cover because
okay,
Docker, Kubernetes, and all. Again, we there are a lot of things we can, if we want to cover, we can cover it, right? But again, the sessions are going to be within 20 to 24 hours of sessions duration, and we want to keep it very crisp with respect to engineering. See, Docker, Kubernetes, and all. It's more about the way the projects are handled and deployed. So we'll not go there for sure. It's going to be pretty much on these topics, whatever we are mentioning. It will be really overkill. We're going to cover a lot of other things as well, right? There are separate courses available. If at all you're interested in Docker, Kubernetes, and all, right, there's a very specific courses available within Asia. But this engineering topics are very specific, tailored for a performance engineer.
okay, okay, Satish. Thank you.
Yeah, the timings alone, it is going to be 7:45 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. IST. So you can look into your zone. If you have specific, I think once you enroll, right? If everybody agrees that if you wanted to prepone it, say we cannot postpone because it will be late for Indian folks for their office. So we can, if you want to prepone it, we can do it at 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. also. I'm okay. So that it will be a little bit early for US folks. We'll decide once everybody enrolls. But for now, it is 7:45 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. IST.
So Satish, tomorrow also it will be the demo session or a regular session?
Yeah.
Satish?
No, it will be extension of today's only. I'll go over in detail about all these things. So it won't be exactly the session one. It will be a demo only.
Okay.
But you will get more details about what we're going to cover.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned an open source info monitoring like Telegraph, Inflex, and Grafana. So in this Grafana, can we do code level monitoring as well? Like we are going to do in AppDynamics, right?
No,
like
no, it's not a
replacement.
It's not a replacement of AppDynamics. It's more about monitoring your OS level metrics like your CPU, memory, network, all these things. But it's not going to be a replacement for APM.
Only like resource level, CPU, memory
Resource level,
only.
yes. Instead of using the Perfmon or VMstat top, right? For that, you can use the tick stack. For diagnostics, we have to rely on these two like AppDynamics or Dynatrace.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Satish. Okay. Got it.
Satish,
No problem.
what if any session is missed? Can we get the recording?
Yeah, absolutely. I said right. The same day in the evening, you will get the video recording so that you can go over that before the next session. And all the videos are going to be available for you even after the course is completed.
Okay.
Hi, Satish.
Yeah, Arshini. Hi.
I'm a performance tester and I didn't have any idea about this performance engineering or anything because I didn't have any hands-on experience as a separate team for performance engineering or anything. From here, can I learn it from the scratch?
Yes, absolutely. See, it's for kind of beginners only. So if you already have a performance testing knowledge, yes, absolutely, this is the course for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine, guys. See, guys, if you still have any questions and all right, during the daytime today, sometime in the afternoon or evening, you can just ping me in the WhatsApp. If you have any questions, we can connect one-on-one, and so that I can answer your questions. Or if you still have questions, you can just message me in the WhatsApp, or tomorrow as well, you can ask. For enrollment, you can reach out to Mr. Kumar Gupta. He is the admin of that WhatsApp group. You can also reach out to them. Okay. Otherwise, we'll again connect tomorrow at the same time. Tomorrow same time at 8 a.m. We will connect. Okay. Thank you guys. Thanks for your time. Have a good day, and we'll connect tomorrow. Or if you guys want to have some more information, just message me. We will connect over the chat or through the call in the daytime today. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Satish.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, guys. Bye bye.